Hey, what's happening, guys? Ronin man. My goal with this short video is to change your life. This one video, I want you when you're old and you look back at your life and you say, man, there was that video. That video changed my life. And this video is about eating a balanced diet. But it's not going to be a lecture. It's not going to be like most people say, doctors will tell you you have to eat a balanced diet. But if you look at most doctors, they look like shit, right? They look terrible. You look at most doctors, you want to run out of the fucking office, right? Why is that? Is that because they don't know what a balanced diet is? Is that because, I'm a doctor? No, not a doctor. Why? What is the problem? The problem is the practical aspect of eating a balanced diet on a regular basis. That's the problem. It's huge. Just the practicalness. And I never see anybody really helping people with this. So let me give you here's the thing that happens. If you don't eat a balanced diet, right? Here's what happens. Basically, you're going to have nutritional deficiencies. So, macro, micronutrients. Your gut health is going to be fucked. So your gut, that is the key. One of your key things in your life is your gut health. And when you take antibiotics, then temporarily you don't have gut health. You don't have the gut bacteria disappears, right? So that bacteria is really key. That's based on having a balanced diet. You don't lose weight. You can't lose weight. You're tired all the time. Obviously fucking bad diet and all these things I'm going to talk about here, they hurt everything about the way you fuck chicks, the way you make money, the way you laugh, how long you live. And of course, your immune system is going to be fucked if you don't have a balanced diet. Cancer. Every time you hear somebody has cancer, if you actually implement the ideas in this video, you're going to see people that you care about. Maybe your brother or friend die of cancer. And you're going to think, fuck, all they had to do was do what Ronin said in that video. And they wouldn't have probably, you can never say for sure, but they probably wouldn't have, died of cancer, right? So the other thing you can have is your immune system can be fucked because that's all related to balanced diet. It's because your body needs a lot of stuff, right? Just think of this. Your body needs a lot of shit, okay? All the time. But to get that in your body is not that easy. It's complicated. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to spend your whole life thinking about it? Or are you going to... What I have is like a fucking simple system that will help you to not have to think. You don't have to plan. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a fucking doctor. Let's go a couple more things that happen if you don't have a balanced diet. Is your metabolic health. So when you hear somebody had a heart attack or they got diabetes, their cholesterol's bad, they got abdominal fats, they got a gut, they got a low, they have bad blood pressure, either, high or low. That's basically related to balanced diet. Next thing is you might have too much of one ingredient. So you have too much of vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, whatever it is. If you have too much of any one thing, it's not good. Sometimes it doesn't matter that much, like vitamin C, but other things it really does matter. And if you eat too much of the same thing, long term, it can really have an effect. So balanced diet is key, right? You don't want to have a gut? Fucking balanced diet. Let's see. Energy. People that are tired. Why are they tired? You eat the same thing all the time? What'll happen is, I'm telling you, humans are creatures of fucking habit. And so that's why you need a habit that basically beats the system, okay? So that your habit is a balanced diet habit that you don't have to think about. You don't have to plan. It doesn't take any time. And you just do it, right? It's just like boom, boom, boom. I've given you a little view of the scene here in Brooklyn. And let me show you what this is, what this means here. So, okay, here's the secret. This is the little key. It's the little things that make the difference in life, right? It's like, for example, if you don't sleep at night, actually, this is a little different, but let's say you don't sleep at night. You're going to have all kinds of problems, right? But if you just sleep at night, you're never going to have those problems. If you don't get arrested, you're never going to have to learn about criminal law, right? So sometimes life is about just doing the right thing so that you don't even have to fucking worry about the other stuff. If you don't get in an accident, you don't have to worry about what to do when your car is all fucked up and, you know what I mean? And the money problems and all that. So it's just like, you don't have to be an expert here. You can be way healthier than your doctor. But practically, it's not that easy. See, most people, they don't get it. And I'm going to give you some very simple tips here. Okay, so people say, have a balanced diet, right? Oh, well, there you go, right? Fucking balanced diet. Very simple. No problem. The problem is real life. Real life. You're running around. You know what I mean? You don't have time. You know, blah, 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 blah. You know the score on this one. You don't need a balanced diet. Because a balanced diet is not a balanced meal. Balanced diet is like all the time. It's a diet. It's your diet. It's what you eat. What goes in your body every day. And by the way, everyone lies to themselves about this. So how do you make it where your system kind of automatically fixes things that your human nature would sabotage? Okay, so let's start with this. Vegetables and fruits. Everybody knows, want to have a lot of those, a lot of variety. And even with meats and fish, and you want to have variety, not the same fish, right? So we know that, right? The practical thing is the problem. The problem is, let's just think of the practical thing. So say you want to have watermelon, right? Well, a watermelon's huge. If you live alone and you buy a fucking watermelon, you know, I eat a lot, but if you don't eat a lot, the fucking watermelon's going to get old, right? And also, when you buy an orange, what do people do? It's almost like they think there's a rule from heaven. If they get an orange, they got to eat the whole thing. If they get a grapefruit, they got to eat it. You know what I mean? If they cut it, they got to eat it. That's not true. The key is, the secret is to basically chop things up. Just take a little bit, a little slice, a little chunk of everything. So this is also going to save you a lot of money. You get a lot of variety. You avoid all those problems. You don't have to even think about those problems because you won't fucking have them, right? If you eat a good diet, you're lowering your chances of having problems. Like, I don't even know what the percentage is, but obviously it's very huge, right? So, okay. So what you do is, like, let me give you an example. So very simple. So I bought this grapefruit a few days ago. I ate half of it. Then this morning, I just wanted a little bit of grapefruit for some reason. I was kind of in the mood. So I cut off a little slice. So you can see that was half this morning. And then I just threw it into the refrigerator. And the world didn't melt down in a pandemic or nuclear meltdown. I didn't cover it up and put it in a bag. I found it doesn't really matter with this type of thing. Then I just basically had a bunch of leftover vegetables. So everything was kind of half eaten. And that's the way this is what my fridge looks like, right? So, yeah, half an avocado, right? I took this bell pepper, bell peppers are just so awesome. So anyway, I just took a little slice off at the end there, right? Maybe it was out to there. Cut that off. I ate that. This one here used to be, let's see, 4 days ago, it was about out to here. This is ginger, by the way. Ginger is awesome. So it was out to here. Now, people will pay big money in Beverly Hills for some ginger drink. There's no reason to do that. Ginger's right here. This is ginger. You don't need to, it's very cheap. So just take a little slice, just slice that off. Tastes good, gives you good breath. No lose on that. There's my turmeric. This one's easy because they're little pieces, so I just have a couple pieces every day. This one here is the jicama, which they have around here, a lot of jicama. So I just buy this. I like this one. I'll slice a little bit off that. And whenever I'm in a mood, I'll take another slice. This one's almost like a potato chip for me. If I need a little snack, I'll just slice off that. That one's good. And it also very tough, right? So you can throw this in the fridge without even a bag or anything. It doesn't matter. If you want to put it in a bag, it's fine. And then I just take a little bit of onion, things like this. I'll just take a tiny little slice. You can see that was half before. Now I cut off that there on the end. And then I just ate that this morning. I think that's pretty awesome because imagine your stomach. Okay, this analogy is not perfect, but think of your stomach like a sponge. So it can only absorb so much of anything, right? Liquid, for example. So your stomach, to get this food into your stomach, it's kind of it's a subtle game. It's a subtle thing, right? So if you eat a pound of nuts, you will not be able to absorb all that stuff. So your body will get rid of it. But if you just eat some nuts, and then maybe 2 days later you have some more nuts, your body can fully absorb the nutrients from those nuts, right? So that's why it's so good, because a balanced diet, you win in 100 ways. But a lot of healthy food, quote unquote, you eat too much of it and then your body gets rid of it. So it's about getting your stomach to absorb things into your bloodstream, right? And that's a delicate thing. So once you kind of understand this, you can start to think this way. You just want to give your body enough that it can take, that sponge can take it in, right? Just allow it to take it in, goes into the blood, goes into the body, you're done, right? This, obviously, I just have one piece of garlic. And then I have this fish. Now, this fish is pretty cool because I went to the store yesterday and they had a can of fish. This was on sale for $1.99. So basically, here's what happened last night. I was coming home and I was a little bit hungry because I worked out yesterday. But I wasn't that hungry because I had a huge lunch. So I was thinking, I was kind of tempted to go to get a quesadilla or something, maybe a burrito or something, right? Good Mexican places around here. So I thought, what should I do? So I was like, I want something, but not that much, right? So I thought, what's my silver bullet is fish, canned fish. It's very easy to store. You can have cans in your cupboard. They last forever. And fish is really an amazing thing. And then there's an advantage to canned fish. I don't know if you can see there. Can you see the bones? See the bones there? Yeah. One of the advantages of canned fish, the way they cook it, it cooks the bones into the fish. So the bones are calcium, which are really fantastic for you. So not only do you get the skin and all that, but you also get the bones. So you're basically getting a lot of micronutrients just in this alone, right? So the advantage of this is everything's cooked. It's very cheap. It's easy to store. Fish is hard to cook, right? Fish is not easy to store, but cans are easy. The disadvantage of canned fish or any canned good is that they use, I forget the name of the chemical, but they use a very bad chemical to can fish. And also they tend to put a lot of oil and salt into the can. So what I do is I rinse this off. That's the first thing I do with anything canned. That's why I don't buy like cream of corn or, refried beans. I'll buy beans and then I'll clean them off. And I'll buy fish and I'll clean them off, right? And I'll buy corn and I'll clean it off. I'll rinse it off. That way I get rid of the oil, salt, and the sugar and the chemicals. And then I just have the remaining, whatever it is that I wanted, right? And canned fish, it's very cheap. And the reason why is because they use nets. So when they're fishing for big fish, they come up with all these small fish. Now the small fish are better for you anyway, less mercury and all that. But they're just awesome. Small fish are just great. You get the whole thing. You get the head, you get the body. And all that stuff is good stuff for you, right? But nobody's going to eat a big fish head, right? You're not going to eat a shark head. But a little fish, you're just going to eat it, right? It goes in your body. It tastes good. So that's the advantage. So this is kind of my go-to magic bullet. Sometimes I get on a bean kick where I'll have beans as my magic thing. But I think fish is one of the best. But if you're a vegetarian, just think of, instead of this, beans. Beans are great. But fish, to me, is really the shit. Fish is absolutely fantastic. So anyway, there you go. Just to recap. You want a balanced diet, but practically, it just never happens in your life. You just never get around to it. You look in the fridge, there's never the right things. And then you go and shop and it's too expensive. Or, just things don't work out. So what you do is you just act like the cheapest guy in the world. You just cut a little slice of everything. So you want your fridge to look like this, just tons of half-eaten things. And then just like you're just cutting a little bit off, little bit off, little bit off. And then if you want a whole thing, you just eat that. It's not like you don't eat a whole thing. If you want a whole thing, you eat it. But a lot of times you don't. And what happens is the more in touch with your body that you get, you realize that a whole grapefruit is a lot of sugar, right? And your body doesn't really want that, right? All that sugar, fuck that. You really don't want that. But a little bit of this, man, this is refreshing and tasty. It's absolutely delicious, actually. So I want a taste of that. And that's the other thing about the variety, besides avoiding all the problems like that most people have these days, like modern humans. You avoid all those. You don't have to even think about them, right? But at the same time is this variety, we evolved eating a lot of different foods. Okay, we were hunters and gatherers for 99% of our history. And what hunter and gatherer is is you're out getting random things, right? This is what we're talking about, a bunch of random things. So you're eating a historically a diet that humans evolved on, right? Which is the best kind of diet. It's something that just naturally works. But you don't have to get into you don't have to get into the theory of it. Just do it, right? So and also this is very cheap. If I was going to buy, let's say I was going to buy one avocado, one of these, one jicama, one this, one can of fish, it would be a lot more money. It would be like more than 3 times as much money, and that's a big difference percentage wise, right? You get the same advantage. You can have a nice meal. You just have a little slice, and then you got this in you. And let's say you got a day where, you're going to be out and you know that you're not going to eat good food today because you're going out with your company people and you got to eat in a restaurant and you don't have that many options today. Okay, fine. Have this first. Have something like this. Now, again, variety. So this is not the same thing I buy every day. This is just one example. Everything you're looking at is like one example. But it tends to be things that I personally think are very tasty, because if something's tasty, you're going to be more likely to eat it. Now, I personally like fish. So for me, fish is great. But if you don't like fish, what you can do is you can put, for example, you can dump a bunch of salsa on this, and that will make it taste great. You can just put salsa's tasty, right? Something like that, right? Spaghetti sauce, salsa. Just dump it on there, and it's going to taste great. You're gonna make something that's not appealing to you very appealing, right? And if you like it, even then you want variety. So now that I thought of the salsa, I might try that at some point, right? But then also I go for things I really enjoy. Like I really, really like these. Man, I love bell peppers. That red bell peppers, I freaking love these. I think these things are fucking gold. Like this is my go-to. Like if I'm walking around, right, and I want a snack, I might buy like 2 of these. And let's say I don't have a bathroom, I can't wash it. Let's say I'm just walking. I'll spit on it and then I'll rub it with my shirt as hard as I can. And I'll try to rub as much of until it gets that kind of clean vegetable feeling. Yeah. And then once it gets that, I'll eat it. And then I'll just take the seeds and throw those in a garbage can, or, in a, behind a bush or something. It's biodegradable. So not a big deal there. But anyway, they're just so tasty to me. I just think these are great. So you can find for yourself what area you live in. Some things, they just taste great raw. Other things, they don't, right? So I still will eat them, as you can see, with the onions and the garlic. And, other things I like raw. Like the things that I really like raw here is this red pepper. And also this one is very tasty. It's awesome. That one's good raw. And jicama's good raw. And I think the turmeric is fine. It tastes good. The other stuff I kind of just, eat anyway. Oh, the ginger is really good. I like ginger. And if, it's too strong for you, just have a smaller piece. Just cut off a tiny piece. And then you can get a bigger and bigger. You don't have to, And again, this way of eating, it's just automatic. You go in your fridge, you got a bunch of half-eaten vegetables. Like some weirdo. But you're not thinking. You're not like some food Nazi. I'm talking a long time about this, but in reality, I eat this whole thing in like a few minutes and I'm done. I don't even think about it. I'm having to like explain this for you so you can kind of get all the concepts. Because everybody, like I said in the beginning, every doctor knows to eat a balanced diet, but they don't. So it's about the practicalness of a balanced diet. And I think this way of buying raw things and just eating them, or if you like cooking, you can cook it and then put it in the fridge and eat it slowly. But it's just like, it's kind of pretty revolutionary, actually. Because you can do this with any vegetable. So if you go to the vegetable section, just buy a bunch of shit and just start eating it. People say, what's that? You say, I don't know. I like this one. Oh, what's missing here? One thing I really like to have, but I don't have here in Brooklyn that much, is leafy green vegetables. So I usually like to have one leafy green vegetable. So, one spinach, one kale, something like that. Cabbage. Cabbage, I don't really consider a leafy green so much. Or broccoli is a good thing to add to this. But a leafy green, that's one, just if you want a basic rule, add a leafy green. Just add one leafy, it's thin, you can see the little, there's like, it's almost like it looks like your blood system. Like you see the little tentacles of, you know, the I don't know what they're called. I forget what they're called inside the leaf, but you can see it like it's almost like the human body, right? The leaf, that right there, that is absorbing most of the sun's pure energy. That leafy green, dark leafy green vegetable is fucking gold. You know, if I can't have anything, if I got no time at all, if I just am running out the door, I'll grab spinach, I'll rinse it off, I'll just shove it in my mouth, and I'll take a piece of garlic and I'll run. Oh, and I'll take a slug of almond oil, or sorry, olive oil, and then I'll just go. And that's another like, boom, done, and you'll feel good. You will feel good, trust me, afterwards. That's the other thing about this food. You afterwards eat like this for a while, and what'll happen is you'll start to get more in touch with your body. I think this type of diet benefits women even more than men. I personally think. I've seen it with my ex-girlfriends. I really think that it's a woman's body. I think it's even more important. So if you have anybody you care about, you know, you want to, you know, tell them, hey, you know, here's some practical ideas. You can send them this video. But I think it's very important. That's why I'm doing this. I wanted to put this out, not put this in the members area or something, you know. I think it's like super important. So if you start to eat this way, I want to hear, you know, how you feel, what things you're learning. And then, you know, maybe 10 years later, I want to hear what effect it had in your life. Again, it's not about knowledge. Okay, you know you need a balanced diet, but you can't cook every day, right? You can't afford to buy tons of different things, right? Expensive superfoods, blah, blah, blah. But anybody can afford this here. This here is cheaper than McDonald's. This is cheaper than Egg McMuffin with coffee. What I'm eating here is dirt cheap. It's very inexpensive. Because I'm picking things that are on sale, things that are, you know, in season. I'm not buying like some super expensive berry that only grows on the, you know, Tibet's mountains in one day of the year, you know, none of that stuff. This is all like, you can get this anywhere, and anywhere I am, I basically choose the things that will give me variety, but they're also, you know, if you see a bunch of things on sale, you know they're fresh, right? You know that that's the season for that. And that's a good thing. You know, you don't want the expensive vegetable that's rare. You might want a rare painting, you might want a rare car, but you don't want a rare vegetable because you know that not many people buy it. So that means the store don't want to lose money, so they're going to keep it forever, right? Whereas you know something like just came in from Mexico, it's going to be fresh, right? That's good. That's good. It's fresh. It's seasoned. It hasn't been stored a long time. You know, it was just picked. Boom. Health. Simple. Done. Cheap. Move on. All right, guys. Hope that was helpful.